Hello, today I just want to share some thoughts about taxes. And I'm not an accountant or advisor, so I cannot give you any advices, but I just share from my experience, things how I do, and then you can figure out what works for yourself. For something like, side income, when you maybe have part-time business, self-employed, besides of your normal income, you can claim a lot of expenses against that business that you do, and you can actually end up being not profitable. And then if that's the case, you can claim that against your primary income. And this is exactly what happened to my first year on Amazon, because I bought a lot of inventory. I have some equipment, some house office expenses, and that end up bringing a loss overall. But because you claim that against your other income, the primary income, you get some tax refund, and then that helps you to offset some of the expenses, and you technically end up being profitable, more profitable than if you didn't do anything. So I just want to show here on CRA website. Business expenses, and then there's like a lot of categories. You could list through those and see if anything applies to you. Insurance, advertising, even fuel if you drive around. There's a lot of different expenses you can claim against a business. And I think I will just show the real numbers, my numbers. So I have here my spreadsheet. So I do record all expenses and income from the Amazon primarily, but also I have like few, because I do custom decals in Calgary, so that generates some income. So my expenses would consist here of the Amazon inventory and other things, and plus the decals and income as well. So like here in the green, I have all payouts by Amazon. So you can see like I started with 140, and then it was going around that number, so it started going up. December was like almost $600, and plus few invoices paid by local companies here. So that generated just over $2,000 for that period of time, for the last year. But my expenses, you can see, like were almost 6,000, and that's because I have accumulated a lot of inventory, which I sent to FBA. So I spend money, I bought, those things, but they still on my balance sheet. But this year in 24, they will start generating more profit. So this hopefully would go into profits, because stuff that I already purchased, already have, I would use that to generate profit in 2024. But that's not everything, because besides of these expenses, like direct expenses, you can have something like indirect expenses. So for example, we have quite expensive house, and I use a large room as office for my business activities, and this is my kind of like spreadsheet of all the numbers. I pay to NMAX for the internet. You can write off the mortgage interest, property taxes, insurance, phone, lot of things. And I would just calculate based on the square footage of the room, relative to all the other expenses in the house, and that gives me another like almost $7,000 of expense I could write off. And even though like here the equipment I use, you see like in my office, I have things like computer, monitor, office chair, there's a hard drive, the printer. So all these things could be on the balance sheet, and they depreciating assets. So you can find on the internet what each asset is, the rate of depreciation. But on average, it's like 4 to 5 years. some of it longer. So I just take like 5 years amortization, and I kind of like write off here. So that's another like $1,100 for for the equipment I'm using for this business. And what I'm getting with this, like, even though it's losing business, right? So I probably lost over $10,000 if I combine my income with all the expenses that I had. And at the end of the day, if that's $10,000, you know, against your primary income, against your the bracket tax bracket you pay, you can have like few $1,000s refund from the CRA. So, and that kind of creates interesting situation here, because you can technically, try something. Maybe you have an idea on to do things on Amazon, or it could be something else. You could sell stuff on Facebook or Kijiji, whatever, locally. And then if you document everything, if you track all your income and expenses, and then if you have your primary primary income, and then you end up losing money on your business activity, you can write it off against your main income. And the same goes to rental properties and other things. And that's how it is in Canada, but I'm pretty sure US is very similar to that. So that's something which I guess you could use as motivation, to consider doing something, because many people just think, okay, I cannot, commit to that because I'm going to lose money. I'm not sure if it's going to work. But I guess the biggest benefit you get from this is your learning, because you go through the process, you learn a lot of things for yourself, you kind of do like a little startup kind of thing, whether it works or not, you can still generate the profit, with your tax rebates. So that's something which I thought would be interesting to share, for someone who wants to try that but sits on the sidelines hesitating. You could totally do it. Like, you could invest only like $500, $1,000, buy some inventory, try it, and then write off a bunch of things, which you couldn't do otherwise. Because if you're just regular employee, you cannot write off any of those things. If you run a business, part-time, doesn't matter, that becomes a thing which you could leverage, to generate more profits using the tax system. And then of course this is, like any law, I guess it could be interpreted slightly different. CRA could totally come after you, with audit. They can have questions. They can, even question something maybe if you do it wrong. So it's maybe a good idea to consult with professionals, who know all the ins and outs. But regardless, this is the way. And then I just want to share, I think, one thing before I go. So I was using this software, Studio Tax. They don't pay me anything. It's not an advertisement. I just want to share a tool which I found very useful. And it's only like $15 a year. And then you can, I think, file up to 10 or 20 returns. So essentially the whole family can go on a single license. And it's very good because there's like you can go to HR Block, consult, which is very expensive. And I personally had a poor experience with them because they lost my documents, and I had audit a few years ago, and the person was fired, I guess, or laid off. They couldn't find anything, so I was basically left by myself, with CRA, working out that audit because there was no help from HR Block. And then I tried, I think it's a TurboTax. It's also more expensive. They do provide online support, but I didn't like how they kind of like hide the things behind the scenes. They ask you a lot of questions. Do you have children? Do you have the income? Do you have real estate and things like that? But it's not very kind of transparent, you know. And I do like Studio Tax because it's just forms. You know, you can add forms, you can manually, you know, review and fill those forms. They do have connection, I forgot what's the name, connection to CRA, you know, to automatically fill your forms from the CRA. So if you employ, then they submit all the T4s to CRA, and then you can use this software to connect and basically grab all information CRA already has, and then it will automatically populate your T4 form and other forms that you have. So it kind of reduces a chance for mistake, you know, for typo. So that's very convenient, and it's just $15. So I was using this software for like several years, and I really like it. And they do have, I think it's called T5 or something, that the business form which you can submit, you know, and add all the expenses. So yeah, very, very good software. So that's, I guess, that's all I wanted to say. Just don't be afraid, you know, if you do want to try something and you have job but you want to do something on the side, explore the tax law, tax benefits, see how that works for you, and then you can even, with you know, a losing year, you can still come out profitable because of the tax rebate. That's everything. Thank you.